Good morning, everyone. What I want to do is just briefly take you through the MSc Business and Technology, which is a new program start to deliver in Ulster this year. So I'll take you through the sort of thinking behind that and the approach that we're using in the program in the context of HLA. So this gives you an overview of the program. So the program aim is about advancing business and leadership capability in a tech-led world. So essentially it was designed for technology professionals to provide them with the necessary business skills and leadership that is required to influence transformation and organizational growth. So it stemmed from a demand in the technology sector to say, well, listen, we have great people with great technology skills, but what we want to do is we want to build their business and leadership skills, and then so they can progress into leadership positions within the companies. So in terms of the student profile, the ideal student for this program is really someone who's experienced in technology or in tech-led projects. So they don't necessarily have to have a technology background, but it is in the context of tech-led projects. However, in saying that, we're getting a lot of interest from other sectors for the program, but our first, if you like, our first rollout of the program will be for the technology sector. So what does it look like? There's 3 phases to the program. The first element of it is where you, once completed, then that's a postgraduate certificate in business analysis consulting, and then the second year is a postgraduate diploma in transformation management and leadership, and then the final year is the MSc. So it's quite unique in that this program does have different exit points, and when you do exit from the program, then you will exit with a qualification as shown there within the overview of the program. So typically in most master's programs, you would have, for example, in this case here, it might have been that you would have a certificate in business and technology and then a diploma in business and technology. So this has been developed in consultation with industry, and what we're finding is that this program actually follows a typical pathway of someone who is in sort of a business and consulting role or a business and technology role at the start, and then progressing to the leadership and transformation role, and then finally into a senior leadership position. The program is framed in 3 components: business understanding, technology, and human insights. And the next slide will give an overview of what that looks like. So this is the program structure. We work in this basis here in a horizontal and a vertical structure. So you'll see in the left-hand side, we have the industry and future work themes being business understanding, human insights, and technology. And then the course itself, the overall course, works through each of those themes. So just for example, so in year 1 on the certificate, you would look at business analysis and consulting, but in year 2, it would be more about strategic planning and strategic transformation. Year 1, the focus would be on stakeholder and client management. However, in year 2, it's more about leading transformation management. The program will, the final year is what we call a capstone project. So that would be a complex project that they would be working on, and each component of this program runs on 15 credit points, but the final year is a 60 credit point module. This program has been based on the 3 dimensions of curriculum design, excuse me, and that focuses on knowing, being, and doing. So this program is not just about developing the skills and capabilities that's required for business and technology, if you like, or business and leadership skills. We also focus very much on the person, looking at developing skills such as leadership, influencing, looking at resourcefulness, focusing on emotional intelligence. And then in the doing component, it is about things like structured problem solving, strategic business, strategic thinking, concept mapping, etc. So for our programs, and this is right across the university, this knowing, being, doing component is applied to all of our programs now. And just as a final slide is really sort of looking at what is our delivery model, what does it look like? So we use a hybrid blended method. The delivery model is very much industry focused. We use case method learning, so that would involve case studies, so bit technology or business case studies, and those would be applied within the assessment. And we also use business simulation as well, which is great, and that would be things like, if you like, client meetings, etc. And in terms of even assessment, we incorporate things like report writing, client presentations. We use professional conversations. So it's very much a move away from the academic essay style to a more sort of, if you like, inquiry and applied based assessment. the employers that we're working with so far, we're actually co-designing the assessment with the employers. And the idea behind that is that we want the assignments to not only make an impact with the students and meet the learning objectives, we want to work closely with the employers to see how can we ensure that the assessments could potentially be applied to their role in their company, or maybe contribute towards the strategic plan of the company as well. We also focus on business information literacy, and what I mean by that is we at the university we have a whole host of business information sources such as market line reports, we have IBIS World reports, we also have things like Mintel. So a lot of the work that we do is encouraging students to actually go and find those resources and bring those and apply them to learning, and hopefully apply them in their work based as well. And just finally, we work on the basis of project-based learning and employer-based learning. So, and what that really means for you as an employer is that we would work with you to set the scenarios for your staff, for the student, and them. And part of that process might be them actually reporting back into the company in terms of what they learned on the project that's at hand. So thank you very much for listening. And I mean, I'm not able to stay just for the rest of the presentation because I'm actually working with a course at the moment in the MBT. So if you have any questions for me, if you could just email them to myself or even to Abby, that would be great. Thanks so much for listening.